leave it open. Currently pulling into stop number 3. I think I got 2 mid-sized boxes of fluorescent light bulbs. What's gonna be these guys here. Let's get out of here. Normally I walk my freight down this spot, but yeah, I got a big spool that I will have to take the pallet jack all the way down, and with all this rain, I ain't doing it. Check in. Currently completing one of the T-type loads with Amazon Relay that I spoke of in a recent live stream. This load was set to begin at 10:15 a.m. with an initial leg out of Moni, Illinois. I was to pick up in Moni and bring a load 30 some odd miles here to ORD9. En route to pick that load up, it was canceled. Something that I've spoke of with these T-style loads is it has an overall V-rib beginning with a T, then a dash, then a series of numbers and letters. But within that V-rib is normally 3 or 4 other V-ribs or verification IDs. If either of those verification IDs are to cancel along your route, the trip's total payout will then be adjusted according to Amazon's liking. And you are not involved in that process. Something else to look out for that'll kind of alert you to these style of loads is the rate per mile. From what I've noticed, the rate per mile is normally excessive. It's usually $4.50 to $5.50 per mile. They throw out an excessive rate per mile and then cancel the legs accordingly. I'm currently docked in Woodridge, Illinois. It's approximately 1:30 p.m. Sunday afternoon. I booked this particular load last night. The total rate per mile was right up under $5.50, 5 stops. So it was kind of like a no-brainer. But I was skeptical when I booked the load because I've encountered this within the last 7 days or so. The initial cancellation was out of the same location, which is Moni, Illinois. That was the origin for both trips. The first time it canceled when I arrived in Moni. This time it canceled about an hour and a half in advance. Either way, same difference. It was a cancellation. With today's cancellation, I believe the total payout for the 89 miles was like $540 some odd dollars. Like I said, right up under $5.50 per mile. Once they canceled the load out of the origin in Moni, which would have went to ORD 9, the rate per mile dropped from $543 to $380. And the miles then dropped because I didn't have to go to Moni this particular time. So it changed from 89 to 47 miles total, $8.03 per mile, pending nothing else cancels. Still slightly ahead of schedule, but I'm gonna peek in and just see. Last time I was here, they loaded me in advance. Some places they will load you ahead of time and let you wait in a lot. Some places they strict on the arrival time and they will not allow you to load ahead of schedule. Yeah, I was here like a week ago, so hopefully they get me loaded. So I just talked to the guy inside, and yeah, this is highly likely to end up being a cancellation. What he's telling me is they do have Amazon freight, but it's to be picked up about 4 p.m. My standard arrival time is 2:27 p.m. and I'm scheduled to be out of here by 2:57. So I only have 30 minutes here. So if they're not gonna have anything ready until 4 p.m., then I won't be able to wait. And this is just giving you guys an idea of what occurs with these type of loads. In my opinion, they're similar to what individuals do with the contracts. Amazon has you tied up for 10 to 14 hours, sometimes outside hours of service. That's something else that comes up often. Certain individuals get tied up at certain locations, and if you're scheduled for a 13-hour tour and you get tied up for an extra 2 hours, that's easily 15 hours. This is something that carriers are encountering as well with these type of loads, and something that you may need to look out for in the future. So I just managed to get loaded while battling off an app issue. Issue being the app wouldn't arrive me. And this is really good information for individuals doing these bobtail style loads. Pretty much the app required me to arrive here by 2:27 p.m. But that was just to complete my bobtail leg. My actual pickup for this location is until after 4 p.m. The only way I found that out was contacting ROC, because I'm telling them I can't check in. I'm here, supposed to be here at 2:27. It's telling me I'm too early. That was just to complete the bobtail leg. I was to wait until after 4 to then begin loading. So upon my arrival, I'm going back and forth with the ship clerk. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here by 2:27. Supposed to be out of here by 2:57. Not understanding that that's just the time that's allotted for me to arrive to mobile geofence for the bobtail leg. And I'm guessing they want me to depart, then return a little over an hour later, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Luckily, by me showing the ship clerk the timestamp for the bobtail leg, he allowed me to go ahead and get loaded. I'm already loaded and ready to go, but still having to await Amazon's allowance of check-in. And oftentimes this even becomes a hassle, because it's a bunch of facilities that I arrive at an hour or so ahead of schedule, go in, check in, and the freight is already ready. They'll let me load. It may be still 45 minutes until my standard arrival time, and I have to sit with the freight and wait 30 minutes before my standard arrival time, at which time I can check in, then check out, and depart the origin. So a lot of carriers are loaded and ready and able to proceed to the drop location and offload ahead of schedule. But due to this app arrival allowance situation, that's not the case. The ship clerk at this particular location, even though I was early, he was telling me that all of the freight wasn't ready. Now, I picked up here about a week ago. Each skid that we're loading onto our box trucks are excessively heavy. They almost feel like they could be 1,500 to 2,000 pounds a piece. With that type of weight per skid, you're not going to get more than 6 to 8 skids on your box truck safely, pertaining to weight. Last time I was here, I took 6 skids, and the ship clerk at that particular time was a lady, and she explained that she understood that we couldn't take more than about 6 skids on a box truck due to weight. So although I was a couple hours early, the freight that he had staged at the dock door that I picked up at, which was about 7 skids total, and I took all 7, pretty much was the maximum amount of weight that my truck can hold. So I guess he was thinking he was going to put together 3 or 4 more skids. This is also a valuable lesson. You have to pay attention to weight as opposed to skid space. A lot of individuals will take up to 12 skids, no matter what the weight is, end up going through a weigh scale and end up being fined and placed out of service. So you want to be paying attention to what the weight is of each load that you're transporting. And an experienced trucker's rule of thumb would be to weigh each load at, say, a Love's truck stop once you're actually loaded. and that'll tell them exactly what their truck is weighing in at with fuel as well as freight. It's currently 3:35 p.m., approximately 30 minutes from my standard arrival time. Right now, I'm about to jump in the back of the truck and scan one of the barcodes to one of these skids. Nowadays, they require you to scan the skids onto the trucks, even at the 3PLs. And due to me not being able to be checked in when I got loaded, I wasn't able to scan everything onto the truck. So right now I'm gonna jump up in here and just scan one skid. As long as everything comes from the origin to the destination and you scan something onto the truck, usually it's not an issue. Ideally, you want to scan every skid from the 3PL to the Amazon fulfillment center. So now I'm headed another 11 miles over to Bolingbrook, Illinois. And I was just sitting here thinking, with the weight that I already have on the truck, I'm wondering what they're gonna load me with, if anything. This could possibly be another cancellation, but I'm already seeing that it's not put together with a whole lot of thought, because the weight that I just picked up is close to capacity. What else would I be loading in Bolingbrook that I could transport safely? Guess we're about to find out. So I'm currently in Bolingbrook, Illinois. It's right before 5 p.m. and for some strange reason, I don't think I'm gonna be getting loaded here. Now, why would you think that would be? Just take a wild guess. And yeah, I'm glad I started to make this video, because you guys get to see firsthand, you know, what these loads consist of. And I don't know who does the scheduling or the routing for these particular loads, but it's a whole bunch of room for error. Also always seeming to be some type of discrepancy. So today being Sunday evening, this particular facility, which is a 3PL, is not open. As you can see, they're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Those are even short shipping hours for any 3PL. But they're definitely not open on Sunday. So why this is scheduled into my trip as opposed to me just going straight to Crest Hill, I have no idea. Something else that I've noticed is that this tends to happen a lot on Saturday and Sunday. It's a bunch of loads, in my opinion, that the computer distributes on the weekend. Computer generated loads for pickups out of 3PLs. This has happened multiple times in the past, and those 3PLs are either not open or not transporting freight on those particular days. I went to a 3PL that was open, but they were not loading trucks on a Sunday, similar to today. This is something for you guys to just keep an eye out for, because it's happening a lot lately. Like I said, a lot of individuals are upset with the payout changes and just the issues that they encounter on these runs in general. So right now my plan is to attempt to check into the facility and back out without having to contact ROC, and then proceed the 20 miles or so over to Crest Hill. I myself am going to take my own advice and try to stay away from these type of trips. The higher rate per miles can be enticing, but it honestly ain't worth the trouble. So the app did allow me to check in and check back out. I put a note into the trip notes to let them know that the facility was not open on weekends and I was unable to load, and that I was now proceeding to my Crest Hill drop location. So I got about maybe 20 minutes or so to the Crest Hill drop location, at which time I'm going to offload and take a little break. Right now it's approximately 5:30 p.m. and I'm pulling into Crest Hill to button up this headache of a run I booked last night. Another interesting factor, something that I kind of touched on, but I'm going to reiterate with these style of runs, is that each leg within the trip can be 2 to 3 hours apart from when you drop one load until you're able to head to the origin and pick up the next. With that type of gap, oftentimes the next load that you're picking up will cancel. So you can find yourself waiting 2.5 hours just to proceed to the next origin, only to show up and receive a cancellation. It comes with the territory. Is it still a huge headache? Of course. Nobody wants to burn fuel and waste time only to receive a cancellation and a reduced payout. So after about a 10-minute wait in Bobtail, they assigned me to dock door 128 so I could go ahead and get offloaded. Imagine running all day. Last load of the night. It's a facility load, and they failed to put one of the pallet jacks back. So upon completion, you gotta come back to the origin facility just to get a pallet jack.